Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. My name is Obindako. Welcome. I want to share with you what I call how to turn your passion or your expertise into a business. How to turn your passion or your expertise into a business. Every now and then we hear people say, "Oh, I'm interested in starting my own business. I'm interested in developing my own company." Um, we have worked for some people for some time, and we think that it is good for us to start our own business. It's a common statement that we hear. Marie, say hello. It's a common statement that we hear quite often, you know. But how do you move the talent or the passion, the expertise into a business? Because the passion is different. Sometimes the expertise is different, and the business is a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. There is this woman that we normally buy roasted cocoyatum, roasted plantain, the ripe ones from around the East Legon area. Now, this woman, maybe she cannot even write her name, maybe. But anytime we pass there and we want to buy the the roasted plantain, the ripe one, cocoa ninkatia, the passion, the smile on her face, her ability to welcome you. Meanwhile, you have a lot of them. There is a lot of competition where we buy from here. There are a lot of them. Sometimes you can see about 3, 4, 5 on the right side, another 4, 5 on the other side. But I almost all the time move around and get to her. I see the way she packages, she wraps the plantain for you, and it's almost always hot. And the other time you ask her, because most of them, they just use the old exam papers or some old newspapers to wrap for you, and they don't smile, and they seem to be, what's the English word? Okay, let me jump that. They most of them don't smile. They don't look at you. They just ask you, what are you buying? But for this particular woman, she looks at you, she smiles, she welcomes you, and it's almost all the time hot. And the other time I saw what she uses to wrap the plantain, and it is clean white sheet. And so Marie told her that but this one, how much do you buy it? So, oh, I buy 23 cedis or 23 cedis. The people come here, they give a lot of them to me, 18 pieces, then I buy them. And then she said, but you need A4. A4 will be easier. And she said, what is A4? Now we were speaking in Chi, she's not speaking English. I was like, send you A4 now there you. I said, now A4 no any day. Now I'm saying this to say that this is a woman who does not have to know A4. She's selling her plantain, she's smiling, and she welcomes you. And she doesn't use her hand to turn the things on the fire. She uses another, like a clipper, to turn them. But other ones, I see them use their hand. I'm saying that to say that you can see that the woman has passion. It's passion. And the passion is expressed in your heart. In your heart, the joy, the happiness on your face that you take to do what you're doing. You could see that. She may not have the expertise to, the people who have gone to cooking school, catering school, they may have all the expertise, but they may not have the passion. Now she has that. She has the passion, she has the joy, she has the smile, she has time for you. She wants everything done well. She wants the things to be clean. The thing has to be hot for you so that you can eat it well. And I'm like, yes, this is a woman who probably cannot even write her name. but her passion is infectious. So how do you turn your passion or your expertise into a business? The expertise is almost the things that you have had some kind of education in, the things that you have, maybe formal education, most likely formal training, not necessarily writing an exam, but something that maybe you're an apprentice learning how to sew, or you're a mechanic learning how to work on cars for a quite number of years or time, you know. And maybe you went to school to learn banking and finance, or maybe an engineering or lawyer, doctor, the things that you have had technical information in and that you have practiced for a while. You become an expert in quote in it. How do you move that into a business? Or how do you move the passion into a business? They are entirely different things. The three may meet somewhere, but they don't necessarily meet. So you may be somebody who has a lot of passion for computers. You may not even have been trained, but you can do a lot of things on the computer. It's your passion. And somebody else may have also gone to have a first degree in programming, in coding, you know. He may have the passion for it, and he may also not have the passion for it, but at least he's working with it. Now, how do you turn those things into a business? How do you turn that? Because a time will come that people go into retirement and they try to do something. You know, usually you see a teacher who has taught for a while, and after all those years, they go to retire, and they want to say, I want to start a school. They may have the passion for it, or they may just have the expertise for it, or they may have the two. How do they move this into a business? Because the business is different from the passion. The business is different from their expertise. You know, they are entirely different things altogether. Like what I'm doing on Facebook, I think I have the passion to share what I know, the things that I know. I love to just share what is on my mind, what is on my heart. Now, it's a lot of the information. Some people are doing it and they have turned it into a business, and they it's a whole different thing that they are doing. And this one is a passion. It's a passion that I love to share what is on my mind. Maybe, hopefully, it will help one person or another person or somebody. It's a passion. For it to become a business, it's a whole different thing. There's a whole different approach that I have to do to turn into a business. If I want to, because there are people who have done this and they have built a lot of things around it. But the moment you just do it for free, it's not a business. It's a passion. When you do it for free, it's not a business, it's a passion. And sometimes your passion may meet your expertise. Okay, so let's say you love computers so much, and then you happen to have some kind of technical training in it. It becomes your expertise. So let's move through and see where and how you can turn some of them. The first thing I think is that you have to really understand that for it to become a business, there is a total shift of mind. There is a total shift of mind that if you like cooking for people, and everybody visits you and you cook and they love it, and they say that, how did you do this combination? Where is the recipe from? And you can talk about it. You like cooking for people everywhere. That is a passion. Now, you're not charging for it. You like doing it. It's a passion. The moment you start to say that, okay, I want to cook and charge 20 cedis per bowl, it's a business. And once they start to take orders from you and they start to pay from you, you will not stay at just the passion, or just as the expert. Maybe you went to a catering school, so it's no more just a passion, but it's also an expertise that you have, and you start to cook for people. You start to charge, take money for it. You are moving it from just a passion or just from a technical expertise into a business. And that business realm is so much different from when you are just cooking for your friend's birthday party, or you are cooking for your friend's wedding or funeral or naming ceremony. They're different. Or you like cooking at your church programs. They're different things. The moment it's a scale. There are companies, there are businesses that are built on all these. The moment that there is a need for it, that people can pay and people will continue to pay, it has the potential to become a business. Now, the problem is that you may have just the passion, or you may have the expertise, the skill, but there is another form of expertise, and there is another form of passion that you need for you to turn that same passion into a business. Because the business must have passion for it, and you must also have expertise for the business. So it is going to be business. If it's going to be a business, it must have income. It must have income. It cannot just be you just, the recipe is there, people like it, and nobody is ready to pay for it. Then it cannot be a business. There must be some people. There must be a way that which you're doing, which you say is your passion. If you want to move it into business, there should be revenue, and there should be the need for it. There should be a need, and the need should be something that is expanding. So you have to become another person for you to turn that passion, that expertise into a business. It's not just that me, I like teaching. Once you want to monetize that teaching, you have to become another person, which means that you have to develop a whole new set of skills for you to turn it into a business. So every passion is capable of becoming a business if there is a need for it. If people are ready to pay for that, it can become a business. And you, the person, must understand business first. So now a business, you should have revenue, you should have there are expenses in a business. Now they have to have sales targets that you're going to meet. There should be a marketing team. There are people that you're going to employ. There will be taxes. There are all kind of things. There are expenditures in business. Now, for you to move the passion into that, you have to also study that part that you're moving that passion into. Because you cannot just say that I like cooking and that's all. No. You cannot just turn the cooking into a business until you have to know that now I am going to buy all these ingredients. I have to write the things that I'm going to buy. It is money. Now, if I don't have the money, how do I get the money? Who do I convince to get me the money to prepare this food for 100 people, for 2 people, for 3 people, for 30 people? And if I prepare it for one person's wedding ceremony, do I have a structure to get another person's ceremony? Another person's ceremony who may not necessarily be somebody that I know, or somebody who is my friend, or somebody who is my family member. Because the moment you start to take into the business, then you are going to go beyond the people who you know and enjoy what you do. Now you have to go out into people who don't know you and who will still be ready to pay for that passion that you have. The cooking passion, the talking passion, the whatever that your passion is that you want to turn into a business, or that whatever your expertise is. Some people love accounting. They have practiced accounting for all these years. They have worked and they've been paid. Now they want to start an accounting business. It's a whole different thing. You may have been an accountant. You work for somebody, they pay you every month. The moment you say, I want to have my own accounting firm and employ people, it's a whole different structure, a whole different game, a whole different person that you have to become for you to have that. And so most people have their expertise from having worked in a corporate environment, having been employed. Those are the things that all people have had training as doctors, lawyers, engineers, consultants, politicians, things like that. You have expertise in that. Now you say that you want to turn that into a business. Now you have to study what that business is. What is it? When they say business, what is it? It goes just beyond you picking the product, going to sell, adding something to it. The business must have some goals. So the business must have somebody who is leading, which is possibly you. And the business must have the market. What is the market? Who are the people that you are getting to? And do you have the team, the expertise to get to those people? And into what numbers can you get into those people? That's how the thinking starts to come in. Before, it is just your passion. You have a passion to paint. So when you're thinking, you're not thinking of the money side. You're just thinking of, okay, I have passion to paint, so you can paint me. So you say, oh, okay, send me your picture, I can paint you. So you can just organize the colors and paint. It's nice, and you want everybody to admire how good your painting is. The person who is able to build a business around the painting may not even have the kind of talent that you have in terms of painting, but that person may have developed his business skill to sell paint that are not as nice as yours, and still people will be coming to buy from him and not be coming to buy from you, who may probably be a very good painter. Why? It's because the expertise that is needed to take a painting or a paint into a business is entirely different from you just being able to paint. So if you're very good with whatever that you're good at, maybe you're a carpenter, you're a very good carpenter, you know, you can make very nice chair. It does not mean that you can build a business around it. You can make nice chair. Everybody will say, ah, your chair is very nice. But for you to lift that chair into forming a business around that product with the chair, there are things that you have to know, and there are expertise that you have to have. There is a way that you have to think. There are skills that you have to develop. There are passions that you have to develop, which may be far more than just you being able to put some wood together to make a very nice chair. You know, so the first thing I said is knowing that there is a difference between you just having a passion and you lifting that passion into a business, or you having an expertise. You know, you have a technical expertise, you're a lawyer, but you don't have your own law firm. The people who have their own law firm and the people who work in the law firm, they are not the same necessarily. One is able to think in terms of business, and one is able to think in terms of working to be paid by that one who pays him. You know, so the one who is waiting to be paid is not really having the kind of expertise that the other one who is raising the money to pay his lawyers may have. You know, so let's say you're a doctor and you work in a hospital as an expertise. The technical expertise that you need to have as a doctor, you may have been trained all these years, so you have that. Now, the moment you want to build a hospital, you cannot just use that doctor skill to build a hospital. There's a whole compartment or department of business skill that you have to have beyond just being a doctor to run a hospital as a business. And so what do you have to have? The first one is the shift of mind. And the next one is, how do you build a business plan or a business vision, a business mission around it? What kind of people are you going to employ? How are you going to get the funds to build the hospital? How are you going to manage that? There will be taxes. There will be accounting. There will be recruitment. There are whole components of business that you have to have. There will be legal side, a whole lot of things. Somebody comes to do surgery, and the next time they have left some scissors, you know, in the stomach of that person. He gets to talk to some friend who is a lawyer. The next minute they are suing you. Okay, they are suing you millions, and you have no idea what you're going to do. If you are not skilled, how are you going to handle that? So it's not just that you are just a doctor, so the next minute you want to have a hospital. No, there's a whole world that you have to have. Or I'm an engineer, so I know how to build maybe a caterpillar or a tractor. So once I can work on a tractor or a caterpillar, I can work as an engineer, you know, maintenance engineer or something on a plant. But the moment I'm thinking of forming a company, I cannot think as just an engineer. I have to think as a business person, and I have to practice that. And so there's a disposition, there's a character that you have to have. You are ready to go through a lot of things. You're ready to test your idea to see whether there is a market for it. You're ready to go through a lot of, you know, a lot of waves, a lot of sinusoidal waves. Some of them will work, some of them will fail. Are you built up for that kind of terrain, that kind of journey? Because if you are just you just have a passion, as an engineer, so you just work on machines. It's very good passion. But I can tell you, the company that you work with, those who started that company, they didn't think just as engineers. There were a lot of skills that they had. That's why they were able to build the business. So it's a whole different skill set that you need to have. And one of it is a shift of mind. Knowing that it takes the kind of knowledge that you need to practice in a firm that you are there as an employee is a whole different thing when you step out to form your own engineering firm. It's a whole different thing. It's a world apart. Sometimes you may not even use your engineering skill directly, because you'll be thinking of where to get the next contract. You'll be thinking of who to employ. You'll be thinking of who is going to finance the next project. You'll be thinking of the taxes, the insurance. You'll be thinking of a whole different things, which will go beyond just getting the scaffold to build that structure, or interpreting the technical drawings that is there that you are going to work with. It's a whole different thing. Being a project manager is a whole different thing from being a business person who's handling a construction company. So how do you move that? The first one I said is the shift of mind. The next one will be your ability to gradually shift. So now you have an idea, you have a passion. Maybe some people, their passion may not even be in their expertise. So maybe you love singing, but your expertise is maybe in maybe you are what kind of profession can I? Maybe you're an accountant. You have technical understanding, or professional understanding, or professional expertise in accounting, but your passion is singing. Now you want to take one and build it into a business. Each of them may go through the same kind of things. Each of them may go through the same thing. And having the understanding that building a business is a whole different thing. So the business is structured. You have to understand that there's cash flow, there are finances, there are people that will be involved in the business. Do you have the expertise to manage and lead the people? And the business will have a vision or a mission. Why do you want to start this business? Why? Do you just want to make money, or you think that there's a problem that the business can solve? And do you think that there are a lot of people who are ready to pay for that? Are you going to produce a product, or are you going to render services? Now, before, somebody else was paying your taxes. There was no problem. If you didn't pay tax, nobody cared. Now that you start a business, you register it to IRS. Whether you have money or you don't have money, they will come and knock at your door and say that, gentleman, you didn't pay. So come. It's a whole different ballgame. There are complexities, there are losses, there are challenges, there are pains. Can you develop your emotions to handle a business? And so it's not to scare you. And even there are other things. You would have to even register the business. Register. Can you have an instrument around the passion or that the expertise? You can't just say that, I'm passionate in cooking food, so that's it. If you want to turn that food passion into a restaurant business, or coming out with a food product, you may have to have a legal entity to build it, and build it well. So you may have to register it. You may have to maybe open an account with it. You may have to have somebody to partner with you if you want, or you may not. What is it? You may maybe decide to operate from your house, from your room, or you may have to go and rent an office. There are a whole lot of things that are involved. Before, it's just a passion, but now that you want to move it into a business, it's a whole different world that you may have to find time and read about it whilst you are still thinking about starting your business. Whilst you are still working, while you are still passionate, because usually most of the people who fall into this category are people who have worked for a while, and so they have built some kind of expertise, or they have some kind of passion that they've been trying to develop. You may have to take your time to transition, because usually people in this kind of category may not be ready for all the turbulences that come with going fully to build a business. Because a lot of people in this kind of category are very much comfortable with being sure that the salary is going to come at the end of the month. And the moment you move into the business, the salary may not come at the end of the month. You may not want to be cheated. You don't want to do anything for free. When you want to turn that passion into a business, you may start trying to do it for free sometimes, or maybe charging a little, for people to know the kind of services that you have, the kind of personality that you have, the kind of skills that you have. And for people to sometimes it may even take time for people to start to talk about what you are doing. So you are very good with this kind of product, with this kind of service. Now you do it for somebody. Maybe people are charging 10,000 for it. Because you want to turn that passion into business, you would want to charge maybe 2,000 for it, because you want an entry, and nobody knows you. You worked as somebody, but now you want to take it into a business, so nobody knows you. You may have to take it gradually, and sometimes you may just be ready for a lot of, discount and losses, so to say. So you want to go in gradually, introduce it to your friends, let their friends introduce it to their friends, let their friends introduce it to your friends. After a while, you start to build the market for it. So you start to build the momentum for it. After a while, they start to ask of you. So you may want to start gradually. That is, if you're doing something already, you have a job, you have something differently, you have an expertise, you may, because when you see how much people are charging for the same kind of thing, people who have paid their dues to be on the market, and they have become names, you probably maybe even be working for those kind of companies, and they are developing this kind of software, they are selling it maybe thousands, and don't forget that they are selling it through a business, and the business may have had some name for a while. Now you want to step up and go and do something similar or something outside that. You cannot go and say that, oh, I was the one who was developing this, so I want to charge same as that. No, people may not look up to you, may not look at you at all. So you may want to drop it and go through the pain and go through the emotional restructuring, because it's actually restructuring. You are going to where you are very used to you being paid good money, and you are sure that it's coming every month. Now this side that you want to go, there's no certainty that you may get the revenue until you push in, you go out, you're ready to be sorted, to be lied to be cheated, to be disagreed, to be sued, to be talked about, to be ridiculed. This is the side of business. Do you have the frame of thinking yet? Do you have that mindset? Have you developed that? Are you ready to count the losses? Can you stand when you work for somebody and that person says, I won't pay you? Can you take it? Or you say, no, how can I work and you're not going to pay me? It's 7,000, you say that you're going to pay me 1,000. Can you take that? Or you can't take it? If you can't take it, it will take you a while for you to transition, because it's a rough area, it's tough, but it's doable. And if you succeed and if you're successful, the leverage is nowhere close to where you're being paid monthly. But it takes a lot to transition into that. So my name is Kwabena. I am talking about how to turn your passion or your expertise into business. And my points are the passion, the expertise, and the business. They all stand differently, and there you have to be a different person at each stand, at each stage. So you like watching football, you like giving commentary about football, you know every footballer's name, you're so much passionate about it. Now you are thinking of, how do I turn this passion into business, into something that I can get revenue from, into something that I can employ people with? How do you turn that? Maybe you can read a lot of information on football every day. Everywhere that they are playing football, you know it. You know all the players. Me, I don't know, because that's not my passion. I don't follow it. But you like it. Can you turn that into a business? Now, how do you go through that? Maybe you can found a sports magazine. Maybe you can create a sports channel. Whatever that you can create. Are you ready to go through it? Because it's not just going to be the sports. The content is what the business does. Okay, the sports will be what the business does, but the business must be a business before you can promote the content or the product that the business is going to. And somebody must be able to build that content, and the thing that carries the content around for people to pay you. And that's the kind of person that is different from just your passion to read about football and watch football from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. You have to become another person. And that kind of person, it's a bit different from the one who was so much happy reading about Iniesta and Messi and Essien and Montari and all those guys that you could read about. Now you want to turn that passion into business. It's a whole different ball set. It's a whole different set of game, different expertise that you need. And that, I say, you shift your mind first. The awareness that this is different. And there is a kind of person that I have to become. And the other one is that you have to go gradually. And you should be comfortable with some kind of losses at the initial stage. And you should be ready to go through, gradually. When others who have been through it for 10 years, 30 years are charging a lot, you as a new entrant, you cannot just go and charge the same. You may have to build a whole network. And you should understand that that idea, that passion, because not every passion may probably that people may be ready to pay for. Maybe. I don't know what the kind of passion that you have, but are the people in that community, do you think that people are ready to pay? Because it's not that people are just going to pay for your passion. That thing should be able to solve problem for somebody. There's a problem that people have. If you solve it for them, a lot of people will be ready to pay for that passion. Now, can you package your passion so that it's going to solve problems for people, and people will be ready to trade, money for it. Will be able to pay you for that. So the passion. You're an accountant, maybe you're an engineer, but you have a passion in farming. Do you think that people will be ready to pay for that kind of farm produce that you're going to bring out? And are you ready to go through all the structures to build it as a business? Because usually the passion starts as a product or as a service, and then there's a whole network, there's a whole structure that must carry that passion, that product, that service to as many people as we can for it to become a business. So if nobody is ready to pay for it, then it cannot be a business, because business must have revenue. And so it's not that I just love passion, I like sewing, but when you finish sewing, nobody is ready to pay. If nobody is ready to pay for the kind of things that you are sewing, then it cannot be a business. It can just stay as passion. And there's nothing wrong with having a passion that you are not ready to monetize it. There's nothing wrong with it. You're just a good man who wants to share his knowledge for free. So like what I'm doing, I do it for fun, and I do it because I think that it may be beneficial to some people. If I have to do, I would have to do a whole different things. I may have to come with a program that is, you put it maybe and charge for it, or create a group and let people become members and charge them, whatever. You have to move it from just becoming a free product into something that will solve problems for people, and people would be ready to pay for it. So it's a whole shift of mind that every one of us would have. And so most people who have this kind of most people who have this kind of tendency of thinking of turning their passion into business usually are very much uncomfortable with losses. And so don't be uncomfortable with losses, and you should be ready to go through the stages as I said, and you should be able to have a plan and to jump gradually, because usually there may have been people who have been working for somewhere, and so they have worked for so long, and now they say that they are bored, they know how to cook kenke, prepare kenke, so they want to build a business around the kenke. Yes, it's good. So you come with some kind of expertise, but it's a business that you're going to run, so it cannot just continue. It cannot be free. You may start giving it to people for free, but at a point it cannot be free anymore. It becomes a business, and you would want to register that business. You would want to have a place that you're operating. You would want to track your cash. You would want to maybe employ 1 or 2 people. When you're employing somebody, what are the things that you're going to look out for? It becomes another skill that you have to have. What kind of people? Are you going to get somebody who's just going to steal from you? Do they have the heart? Can you pick the right people? Can you train them? Because now training becomes part of it, even though it was just a passion of cooking kenke. Now you want to turn that kenke into business, and once you want to turn into a business, you have gone for trouble. Now you have to become an accountant, you have to become an HR person, you have to become a sales person, a marketing person, you have to become a lot of things. So all those skills must be looked at and work on for you to turn that passion into a business, because it's a business you want to build. It's not just that I want to turn into a business. No, there are things that businesses do, so, and study the industry, study the kind of industry that you want to go into. You probably may have expertise in one area, and your passion is in another area, and you want to build a business in you want to build a business with your passion. Now, it's a whole different thing. You're an engineer, you want to build a business, as a restaurant. Now, you have to go and study the restaurant industry, and particularly what kind of restaurant that you're going to set. What kind of people will buy from you? Do you understand the numbers? Can you project the sales that you're going to make? Do you understand the things that you have to bring which will be unique with you? And what makes you think that they should not go to the other restaurant that they've been going for the last 10 years and come to your restaurant? What is separate from your restaurant? What is separate with your restaurant from the other ones? So you have to study the industry. You have to become maybe an expert in that. At least read some data, get some information on it. And once you start to turn the passion into a business, forget about what people will say. You hear a lot of things. Dr. Pan also betone document. Dr. Pan also betone issue. People will say all kind of negative things. But if it's a business and you succeed in it, it's a business. It can become any big business. It can become any big business that it can become anything. And so one thing that you probably would have to also look at is that most people have passion. They know that they can build business around it, but they're scared. Don't let the fear keep you. If it keeps coming to you, that this passion that you have, people always talk about it, and you are thinking of how can I turn this into a company? How can I turn this into a business? Don't be scared. Don't be scared, and don't think that the other one is the only talent that you have, or the only expertise that you have. People can have a lot of talent and a lot of expertise, and one of them can become a great business. And have patience when you start. It's going to take a while for you to grow into that mindset as an entrepreneur, as a business person. It takes a while, because you probably have been practicing as an expert, and this whole thing is a whole different thing for you. And every now and then you make some errors. You bump into something that you didn't expect. Give yourself some kind of grace. It takes a while for you to come condition fully into this kind of area, and make sure that the kind of people who are around you will understand you, who understand what you're doing, because they have known you to be this kind of person. Now you want to be this. How can you say that you want to be this? They don't understand. They will say that you are crazy. But it's business, and so and most likely, if you do it well, you will succeed. And even if you don't succeed with the first one, you may succeed at the second attempt, or the third attempt, or the fourth attempt. So let me try to wrap up. And my name is Obendako. I have tried to talk about how to turn your passion or your expertise into a business. And I think that you have to just have that shift of mind, that the passion itself is not a business. If you're able to create your own shirt, it is not a business yet. It's a passion that you love, you have, and you have to become another person to turn that passion, that sewing, that love for food, that love for programming, that love for selling into a business. It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. And so you would have to have time to study it. Study what it takes to build a business. Read about it. What are the skills that you will need, the expertise that you will need? It's different from the ones that you have known. So read about it, study it, go for knowledge, because it takes a lot of information to shift yourself. Because somebody knows how to make very nice wache, so they are very happy with the fact that they know how to make wache, and everybody loves it. Now, if they want to build a wache business, it's not just about the people loving the taste. Now you are going to build a whole chain to produce that kind of wache to a lot of people. And you will need the skill beyond you being able to cook the wache that people love. You need a skill to manage a business well, to manage the people, to manage the finances, to think of the business and how it can expand, and to get the numbers, the sales, because when they are not buying, there's no business. When they are not buying, when they are not bringing the revenue, when they are not ready to pay for it, there's no business. It can just be passion as it is. And there's nothing wrong if it's a passion. But the moment that you want to turn it into a business, then you have to know that there are things that you will have to learn for it to become a business. And that's where most people are scared. A lot of people are scared because then it becomes a whole different thing. It becomes a whole different thing. You have to have the faith to jump. You can't just continue to talk about it. After a while that you have talked to everybody about how passionate you are about this thing, and you want to turn it into a business, after a while you have to just let everything to say that I want to start. And you just have to start. You just have to start. Do you succeed? If you don't succeed, you would have learned something. But you just have to start, and you just have to know that it's a whole different thing. The kind of person that you have to become to turn the passion into a business, it's a different thing. Because now, before you didn't worry. You just work, and by the end of the month, they pay you. It's in your account, and you go and spend. Now, you're going to get money from people, or from bank, or from your pocket, and turn this passion into something that people are ready to pay for. Now, before you're able to turn the passion into something that people are ready to pay for and they pay, there are a lot of activities. Hello, sorry, the network, went bad. So there are a lot of activities that you have to have, and that a lot of those activities you may have to acquire them yourself, beyond just your passion to make a cake, beyond your passion to just write nice books, beyond your passion to to act, or to produce a movie, or to produce a music, or to uh, beyond your passion to smile to people, or dress, or make clothes, whatever that your passion is, that you want to turn into a business. Or maybe you know how to make a kelewele, you want to build a kelewele business. Whatever passion that you have, you like building houses, you like building electronic gadgets, you like programming. Some people are very good with programming, they can come up with all kind of programs, apps, but there's a way that you must turn that up into a business, or it's just a passion. And if it's a passion, nobody pays you for it. Okay, nobody pays you for it. But if you want to turn it into a business, somebody must pay you for it, because the laws will require that if it's a business, you pay some things. And so if there's no revenue, it cannot be an NGO. It cannot be an NGO. And so those are the things that I think you should be looking at. And so you spend a lot of time, you would have to spend a lot of time, because you have spent a lot of time becoming an expert in something. Some people have spent maybe 20 years becoming an expert, legal expert, medical expert, academic, educational expert, those, you have spent a lot of years in that. You have become a professor. Now you are thinking of building your own university. The skills that you need to build a university is not just you becoming it's not entirely, or it's not exactly as you being a professor. Now you want to go and get money, buy a land, put up a whole structure, make sure that students will come, and make sure that your university can offer the courses that the students are ready to pay for. Now you're going to employ other professors and pay them. If you don't pay them, they'll go a looter, they will sue you. If you start to pay them, you go to SNET, you have to pay their contribution. If there are taxes, they will come and ask you. And if there are lawsuits and complexities and difficulties, a lot of the people can move on to the next stage of their lives, and you'll be the one left with all the damages. And so it's not just a passion, it becomes a business. And if it becomes business, there's a level of maturity, there's a level of understanding that you have to have, and there are a lot of things that you are going to go through. But people have done it. It's not that they were special. They went through the processes as anybody else, and you can also go through the same kind of processes. So if you start to turn your passion and things become difficult, just understand that you just have to keep becoming better, continue to learn. You have practiced as somebody special somewhere in a field, and now you want to see, how can I do this well in my country? Or maybe you're a contractor, or you're a data engineer, a civil engineer, and now you want to start your own construction company. Before, you were just a civil engineer who was waiting for salary. Now you want to start a company. It's a whole different thing. So would you have time to study them, read about them, study, go through the things, go through assimilations, go through the things that you can understand? Those that you can understand, when you start to do them, you will understand somewhere. So you will be ready to calm down and be humble and go through the processes, and never be afraid of the mistakes that you make. Never be afraid of the errors that will come up. Never be afraid of the disagreements. Never be afraid of the losses. Never be afraid of all the complexities that come up. You only have trouble if you stop to learn. If you stop to upgrade yourself, if you stop to increase your knowledge, if you stop to become better, then there's trouble. Then there's trouble. And you should make sure that people are ready to pay for that passion, to pay for that idea, and to pay for that expertise that you have. And give yourself a very long time for you to become a very successful, for the passion to become a very successful business. So if you have a passion and people are ready to pay for it, you're very lucky. You thank God for it, and then build the structures, build the instruments, build the tools around that passion for it to become a business. And so thank you very much for taking your time to look at this. Thank you. It's a passion that I have, sharing the kind of things that we have learned, trying to build what they call business in Ghana. And it's a rough terrain. It's tough. It's fun. It's everything. So it's the same. You don't have to continue to ask people question. I want to start. It comes to a point, you just have to start. And let whatever come, let them come. You'll be fine. If you decide to be bold, if you decide to be stable, if you continue to build yourself and create quality network of people who are doing what you want to do. So the moment you start to turn that passion into a business, get to talk to people and get friendship with people who are doing this. Business people, entrepreneurs, people who have done the same thing or who are doing it. Your conversation will change, your language will change, your perspective will change, your thinking will change. That's why you become stable in that kind of new environment. But if you still go back and talk to the others who want to move their passion, they will talk you out of your vision, out of your dream, and out of your passion to building, to taking that passion into the business. And then you concentrate your environment with the right kind of information, the right kind of books that you read, the right kind of training, the videos, the tapes that you continue to listen to. They will condition you to know the kind of area that you're going into, the kind of industry that you're going to study that, and talk to people who have become something in that area, and let's see what happens, because it's doable. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.